r/AskReddit by Redmond ETS. Mall Santas of Reddit. What is the funniest request a kid asked you? I was asked to be Santa for a church Christmas dinner last year. The funniest one was a shy little boy who reluctantly talked to me. He said he wanted Alaska. When I asked what he meant, he told me that he wanted to be the king of Alaska. The saddest was when a little kid asked for his dog to be alive again. Wasn't a Santa, but I remember a particularly creepy thing that I asked the mall Santa. For some reason I wanted to be Santa. I thought it was cool how he went around the world delivering presents, breaking in homes, eating free food, etc. and I was still young, so I guess I meant to ask for his costume or something. What I ended up saying, however, was that I wanted to wear his skin for Christmas. Whether he found that as funny as I do now, we'll never know. I wasn't a mall Santa, but I was one of the helpers, aka photographer and salesman. One time a little girl asked for boobies as big as mommy's. That was choice. I was a mall Santa sometime in the late 90s. After I asked one little girl what she wanted for Christmas, she answered nonchalantly, a dildo. I thought I must have misheard and asked, what was that? She repeated louder, a dildo. I tried to conceal my snickering by ho-ho-hoing and said, oh, I don't know if Santa has any of those. Then she told me that I should go to Toys R Us because I could get dolls of all the Rugrats characters there, including Tommy's brother Dill. A Dill doll. Even worse than a mall Santa, I was a children's hospital Santa for a party the drugstore I worked for was throwing. I had an inkling that it was going to be a rough day, but when 1 out of every 3 or 4 kids asks to be better so they can go home to Christmas, or see their mommy, their puppy, etc., it's heart-wrenching. I told my boss I'd never do that again, and I think I was blackout drunk by 2 that afternoon. In Finland it's a tradition to have someone, a neighbor, friend, relative, dress up as Santa and come deliver presents to your house on Christmas Day. For those in need of a Santa, some people post ads willing to dress up for pay. I met someone once that hired someone from one of these ads. He showed up completely and utterly shit-faced to deliver gifts to her children. Hey fellow Finn. My cousin told that one of her friends hired a guy like that. Ended up arriving on time and sober. Just naked. The cops were called. My grandpa was a mall Santa for a few decades before he died. The one funny story I remember him telling was a little boy asking him to take his little brother away because he was annoying. Didn't ask for a present, just for Santa to take his little bro. Not a Santa, but no one in this thread is so on with the story. When Toy Story had just come out, I was absolutely obsessed with Woody. My parents bought me a Woody doll that I could play with, but I couldn't make it stand up by itself. I took great joy in knocking toys over from afar without whatever random objects were handy. Since Woody was just a rag doll, 4-year-old me could not knock him over and this was quite distressing. I then decided I would ask Santa for a new Woody. My family and I went to the mall. I sat proudly on Santa's knee and asked Santa for a hard Woody. I dressed up as Santa for an office get-together type of event. Everyone brings their family and the little kids go sit on Santa's lap and they get a gift from under the tree. The parents bring a gift wrapped up to give to their kid from Santa. Anyways, one kid didn't want a present from under the tree, all he wanted was to be Santa. He said he wanted to fly a sleigh and live with elves and make toys and work 1 day a year. I told him when he grew a beard he could come ask me again. My friend was a mall Santa and one day he was sick so he had me fill in. Honestly there are a lot of kids asking for weird things, but this one kid looked me in the eye and asked for a bushel of dead squirrels. He was probably 6 years old. Don't even know how he knew the word bushel. I once Santaed for a toy drive benefit. My absolute favorite part was when this cute little 2-year-old just ran up, hugged my shins, closed her eyes tight and tucked her cheek on my knee. After the most adorable 2 seconds of my life, she stepped back with a little smile, then giggled like she tooted and ran away to her mother's arms. Ah. Can't wait to have little boogers of my own. This one 30-ish-year-old guy kept asking me if I had screwed his mom. It was funny at first until he started biting my face. Not a mall Santa, and not a present request, but funny mall Santa story anyway. I was friends with a guy who was a mall Santa, and up came a big Hispanic family. This was near the end of the day, so my friend was running out of small talk to make with the kids. When the youngest boy of the family came up and sat on his lap, my friend said, "So are you gonna remember to leave out some milk and cookies for me on Christmas Eve?" The boy, confused, said, "Milk and cookies? My papa told me Santa likes nachos and Corona." I was a coffee shop Santa one year, as there were no malls in the area where I lived. All of the employees at the coffee shop were teenagers. I was the only adult at 22, and even though I'm female, I was chosen since I was the tallest. I'm only 5'7". Yes, lowering your voice to try and sound like a guy, for hours on end, does cause some laryngitis. Funniest request. A paintball gun so I can shoot my friend's cat, so I can play video games at his house. He was apparently allergic to cats. Saddest request. Since the North Pole is near heaven, please tell my dad I don't want him dead. Sweetest request. Please give some of my toys to my friend because his family doesn't have Christmas at their house. Weirdest request. From a 5 or 6 year old, I want a toaster that makes macaroni and cheese inside of a Pop-Tart. Sweet kids. Most of them. Some are jerks, even at 5 or 6 years old. Only got peed on once, and only got threw up on once, and I probably sat with about 500 kids. I was a mall Santa for Christmas break last year. I was 16, heavy set and bought a fake beard. One kid asked if he could have the hair on my face. I told him in the voice I was acting with that he would have to wait and become older. He then proceeds to rip the damn thing off. While pissing his pants he ran into Dillard's with one of the elves chasing after him. The elf was a little person so it was even funnier. Sorry if I say it shitty, I am not very good at telling events of my life. For his parents to stop pretending to be me. My uncle was a mall Santa, and I got to help out as an elf for about 7 years. We ran the gamut of funny to touching to screaming their heads off. Those always actually pissed my uncle off pretty badly because the parents would yell at the kids for not sitting with what I'd imagine seemed like a creepy stranger, and why are mommy and daddy walking away. One clever trick that most parents were happy with was having the mom or dad sit in Santa's chair and hold the kid, and the elves would distract the kid while Santa sneaked in. Worked like a charm 95% of the time. We did have the one 6-year-old girl who up and bolted. Seriously, poor girl was having a panic attack. And then there was the 1 year a mom was getting her 3-month-old twins out of the stroller and one projectile vomited and missed Santa by about 3 inches. There were definitely several older women who asked my very happily married uncle to do slightly naughty things to them for the camera. In a room full of kids. A few actually were visibly dejected after hearing that there was a Mrs. Claus in the picture. It also amused me that my uncle was the plant engineer, basically handyman, at my elementary school, and the kids knew him well and loved him, but never ever recognized him, even though he would call them by name, because he hid his beard in his vest at school, and then shaved right after Christmas. He also wore different glasses that he couldn't see for anything in, but damn it, they made him look like Santa. Just pictured all these guys in Santa suits typing replies all merrily and stuff. That's all folks. Thank you for watching. If you like videos like this one, why not like and subscribe for more? Have a nice evening. And Merry Christmas.